Thank you for pressing play. Let's dive in.
Hey, STUK community, STUK founder Brett here, back again with another solo episode. I hope you all are doing amazing. And yeah, I hope you're having a great season. And I hope that you're loving yourself hard today, wherever you are, wherever you're at in life or, like physically. So today I really wanted to talk to you guys about self-validation, as well as just some of the many happenings that were going on last year. If you kind of have been listening for a while, or if you go back in our pod roll, you will see that I think we campaigned around late 2021. And since then, a lot of things have happened or come up. And so I really wanted to discuss what all happened, basically, and, the effect that all of the happenings basically had on the dream and vision that is STUK. But first, in order to do that, I really have to kind of go back and talk to you guys about, what kind of, I think, manifested, these kind of behaviors from people, from society at large to begin with. So that's where I'm going to start the conversation. And so I would love for you guys all to, grab some tea, grab some coffee, grab some water, grab some wine, whatever floats your boat right now. It's very cold where I am today. It is not December at all. It is January. What am I even thinking? But holiday seasons and being around family can really take you out of the loop of what day it is, what's happening. But we're finally coming to the end of the holiday season, which was really crazy for me. And we are grounding again, I feel like. And for me, I've been taking this time to really try to indulge in restoration and rest during this time. I heard some really great advice, which was originally taken from the I Ching, but it was actually by way of a spiritual teacher named Aaron Rose that I actually got this advice from. But he said that it's so important, during this time not to resist rest. Only the capitalistic flow of society resists rest during winter, because all of nature itself is hibernating, and we should really kind of take a nudge from nature to lean into the cycles more. And so he said you really should, be resting and restoring your energy, but also almost harvesting that energy. And he said, pull all of your energy in. It's a great act to pull it in until you're ready to act. So that means taking time to unplug, taking time to be here now, to rest, to maybe just be by yourself, watch a movie, fill your cup back up and fill it up to the brim again before you're ready to act. Then take that action and repeat, then rest again. So yeah, that's really been advice that I've been kind of moving with in this season. So I'm currently wrapped in a little blanket, and I have a beautiful Gemini candle actually that I was gifted this season. And it smells like flowers, and I'm just so cozy. I have a heater by me. I have a bunch of my canvases and paintings surrounding me. And yeah, it's a vibe. I'd say it's a vibe. It's a jasmine candle, and the candle says ruling planet Mercury. And it's a Gemini candle. So Gemini's ruling planet is Mercury. And so it says Gemini, the dynamic twins, ruling planet Mercury. And I think that's I lit it, for this conversation and to have this talk with you guys, because it is Mercury retrograde. Communication can be haywire and all over the place, but I am a Gemini, and so we're gonna do our best during this time to let my ruling planet come in and provide us some clarity along the way of this combo. But I hope you're cozy wherever you are, and whatever time and space or season that you are listening to this. So, where do I want to begin? I think I want to begin with what I was just saying about family, how during the holiday season, family can really take a toll on some of the inner growth, some of the self-love growth we might have done, before seeing them during the holiday season. And, granted, I do know that there are so many of you who are so blessed to have like these beautiful family structures with like optimistic parents and parents who have taught them self-love and etc. And I think that's wonderful, and I think that's powerful, and I think that's great. But there is a group of many others of us who, when we have to be around, family for these like forced social holidays, it gets a little stressful because our family is out of alignment with all the growth that we've done over the years, maybe. Or maybe they haven't even started their spiritual growth yet, or don't even know that self-love is a thing. So, for example, last night I was watching this vlog of this YouTuber who lives in a tiny house in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness. And how she did this was she started this vlog like when she was 18, like maybe 5 years ago or something like that. I don't know, it was way longer than that, years ago. And yeah, because she's 21 now. So she started it by documenting her progress, and she had nothing of anything that she has now. And she was saying that she just has a vision of living this sustainable, economically sound life, and with a garden, and living a simple life, and not living a capitalistic life, and not being driven by consumerism or materialism. So she just started vlogging her journey, and along that journey is when her family decides to collectively go in and buy land that they would all eventually move on. So then after they got that, she decided to save up money to build her own tiny house. And so she made the blueprint and everything, and made a year, 2 years, whatever plan, and purchased all the materials, woke up at 4 a.m. every day, biked to work, and it's incredible to see, someone like who just really believes in making their dreams a reality, because you can see all of her dreams literally manifesting, on the vlog. And so, but she was saying that she has like these amazing, really supportive, optimistic parents, and every time she goes home to visit them, they're so like loving, and they're so happy, and they're so optimistic that the energy just rubs off on all of them. And so I just thought what a contrast, that would be. But we all, come from different backgrounds and have different experiences, with our dreams because of them. Oh, and so the girl, she also made a garden, and she cooks. So she picks fresh vegetables and fruits from the garden and makes vegan meals. And then she made a cookbook because she's like a chef, basically. And then she sews her own outfits. She knits. She sings. She obviously video edits because she makes the whole vlog. It's like, is there nothing she can do? Carpenter. It was incredible to watch. So I just think you flourish a lot more with positive environments, and sometimes when you don't come from those, it's like, yeah, there can be a lot of blocks or obstacles that you kind of have to unnecessarily go through, and a lot of those obstacles come in the form of other people, and that's a lot what I've experienced on my path. For me, it's a struggle to stay really grounded when I'm around my family, and I really tried my best this season to do that as much as possible. I've had to like make a lot of hard decisions this year with all of like the happenings that went down. Um, so in a lot of ways, I have cut cords with a lot of people who were in my, family and completely disrespected me and my mission and the work that I want to do with STUK and the world. Um, and so I think cord cutting in that way and kind of separating and cutting connections with family that even disrespect your creative flow, or that the vision that you hold and see for your life. I think that just needs to happen sometimes, and that's a growth, and that's space, and that's taking back personal power and taking back personal authority. So I really shifted myself, like things for myself, I should say, a lot in this season before even stepping into like the family closeness that the holiday brings. Like I mean, sometimes I've even had to go as far as to block family members, because it's like I don't think a lot of them are conscious of how toxic they even are, in the way that they diminish my dreams, in the way that they belittle everything huge that I've built, Um, so so yeah, that's been a really strong and firm way that I've managed to cultivate my boundaries during this time. And then also like really just taking back my power, which as a Gemini, is Mercury, which is the planet that rules communication. Um, and really taking in and pulling back into myself, the magic and the beauty that is my communication, the magic and the beauty that is me communicating with people, because that's how I heal people a lot of the time. And that's how I create good energy around me and around any space that I enter to, around anywhere that I am, because of the positivity, the light that I hold within, and the way that I choose intentionally to express it to individuals. But when that's not respected, and when like things that I've worked, 14 years, for to get to this point for, and I'm talking like internal work mostly, when that's not respected, and when everything I am and everything that I've done is like, passed off, is just like, oh, she's just doing this like every other girl. She's just, when those she's not serious about, she's not this is just a hobby, whatever it is, whatever the thing is. I think that when you set strong and firm boundaries, you can pull in your communication back to your heart, and then you can start communicating with your own soul again, and be in tune with the own alignment of your own soul, which is always this pure, infinite potential and possibility. But so many people, especially in this recession, which is really like a depression, but they're calling it a recession at this point, like people are just in lack loops, and they're really, I think, confused, rightfully so, hurt, rightfully so. And I think a lot of people are having money issues, and all of that brings discord and sadness and all of that. But I don't think that any of the struggles of these times, whether it be the pandemic or now this like depression, I don't know what, whatever it may be, these are all external things that are happening. And you still have a responsibility to cultivate what's going on within you. Because you, each and one of us, every single thing we do, every single thought, action, movement we take is a ripple. It has a ripple effect. It affects the world. It affects who we interact with every single day, every single moment. We are alive. We are moving. Everything is alive. Everything is moving. And it's like, so when we become conscious, and especially along the walk of self-love, we can start to see that, like, even the most small, like minute little details that we do, when we do them intentionally, are not small at all, really, and that we have an impact on this world, whether big or small. When we're conscious, we understand that. But so many people have like slipped into deep spaces of unconsciousness, deep spaces of, well, I don't really want to help the next person because I don't know maybe where my next check's coming from, or I don't know where this or that is coming from, or they're just too in their heads about this cycle of like what's happening externally. And when you can get in a more of a cycle of learning how to practice, learning to meditate, learning how to draw. Drawing is a form of meditation, utilizing art as a form of meditation, utilizing coloring as a form of therapy. You know, all these things, all these tools that STUK Designs brings to you are ways in which you can elevate, curate, help make your life more intentional, help make your self-love more full. So when people in my life are not understanding this and not understanding where I'm coming from or the purity of the work that I've been doing, you know, it really brings me down, but it also shows me really like the state of humanity, you know, we're in and the times we're in. So, back to like family, I think that my family, like I never came from a very like, you know, positive background. I still don't have a positive family background. And you know, and in some ways I've let that go. I think self-love has allowed me to like let go of always trying to tweak and fix and just hope or fight through or whatever it is that, you know, my family is actually going to change in certain ways or change in this way and that. And it helped me just let go and, you know, and honestly just like leave them where they're at. And if they grow on their own, that's fine. But it's like they don't have a right anymore to like, you know, mess with what I've built basically. And how this really came in for me was like, I think it was around 20, probably like early 2021 or something. But, or maybe 2020, I don't even know. But there was just, oh my God, so much weird stuff started happening. Well, obviously, because it was the pandemic time. And, you know, some of us were using that pandemic time to really go within, tap into more spirituality, level up on an internal soul-based level. And then others were still kind of going out and partying and doing their thing. And I don't really think there's anything wrong at all with either one of those. It's just like a choice that was made. But while I was doing all of this stuff, it's like my friends at the time were really creating a lot of chaos and a lot of confusion for me that they didn't know that they were creating. And then somehow my brother got involved in that mess of things too. To the point, to paraphrase, like to the point where basically, yeah, he ended up, you know, having a like hookup with one of my really close friends at that time, was really one of my closest friends. And then, you know, and it was a mutual hookup. And then, you know, it took them doing their stuff together and very maliciously trying to exclude me from my own life, from my own friends, and from the things that I love the most, that really made me have to assert my boundaries in a completely different way. So yeah, in a way, like I think that, I mean, I think that a lot of people think that people like me, that I think Geminis often get this a lot, but like people who, you know, people have this outside perception of everything being so glamorous and so perfect for me just because I can carry weight well, like I can hold struggle well and I can move through it because I've had to move through it all my life. But in the way that I was really like targeted by my own brother, and a friend at the time, and then the way that it mirrored a lot of other stuff that has happened in my life before, made me really aware that I needed that 2022 was indeed time for some boundaries, cord cutting, new level ups, etc. And I really needed some deep change in that, especially within the sphere of who I surround myself with. So yeah, basically like, that happened. And, you know, even to this day, they continue the facade of nothing happened. My brother still doesn't own up to anything like that he ever did. Then, it's like they would do mean things, like try to like gossip behind my back, gossip to other people about me, and then like leave me out of the places and that I love the most, doing the things that I love to do the most with the people I love to do them the most. So like, for example, they would plan a trip to my vacation home and go there with my dog, believe me, and maybe bring a few of my maybe brother's friends or something. But it was just a game to really like fuck with me, to like mess with my shit. And so, not only that, but like after this stuff started happening, it's like I got a lot of epiphanies. I'm just weird shady shit that like this friend had done. By the way, she was like, she was a Leo, to clarify. But and I operate a lot on, I think a lot about astrology, in case you're like, what is she talking about when I'm mentioning all these like signs or astrology names. It's kind of just how I think about things, just who I am. So, and this is a company that's all about embracing who you are and doing you. So that's just how I talk about things. And it's also, it gives you a little context as to how I am describing these people, because I will never mention names. I don't want to like, my intent is never to slander anyone. It's only to provide greater healing with this podcast. So yeah, maybe sometimes I'll like refer to their signs and whatever, because I think that that's maybe a good way of doing it. But I don't think that anything, yeah, I try to be as vague as I can with like, while just getting the story out and like creating the healing that needs to happen for me and for all of you. So basically, I had to end that friendship. I blocked her on everything. I blocked her within my group chat of my family of friends. I blocked her everywhere I could. And then I had to also block my brother, which I never thought would happen, because we were like, until maybe like around, I'd say like my 30th birthday or so, we were pretty great close friends. And guess what happened on that 30th birthday? That's when they hooked up for the first time. And that's when, the falling out with my brother started to begin. And so it's like, people just don't understand that their reckless behavior can like cause deep issues for others that they're walking all over and stepping all over the feelings and the hearts all over. Because it's just like, people walk around in this world like there's no care to, how they affect the next person, or how they affect how someone else is feeling, or, vibrating in this world, or whatever it may be. And it's just like, when there's reckless behavior, when you're moving funny, when you're moving crazy, then you can create crazy circumstances in the lives of others, and then you're just going to get it back, because that's how karma works. Like literally, that it's just cyclical. And so that's why it always makes no sense to me when these type of things happen, but they happen to me nonetheless. So anyway, I had to really realize, like, okay, wow, like, family once again, just like with the knife to kind of mess up my flow. But the thing is, it's like, I try to give my family the most grace I can and the benefit of the doubt that I can, but it's like, when there is no accountability, when there is no ever ability to apologize, when there is no self-love, when there is no consciousness, then it's very hard you can't have conversations with them. You can't really give them the benefit of doubt of anything, because also it's really just damaging yourself at that point if you do. So, I had to cut ties in order to preserve myself. I fell out with one of my best friends, who was my best friend was my best brother. My best friend was my brother for so long, you know, but even so, that doesn't matter because self-love truly does come first. Because if I'm just like trying to cling to that relationship just because he's my brother or just because of the things that happened in the past that we had, you know, like that's not realistic. That's not that it's completely disrespecting every way that he's disrespected me, you know, my life, my art, my legacy, and all. So while they were together, they went around and like they did things that were really shady. They hung out with each other behind my back, hung out with my friends behind my back. They slandered my name. They dragged my financial business into the street. They said things that just were not true about me. And so many people have done this. It's like a repetitive thing. And so because it kept happening, also, I really had to be like, well, Brett, why is this happening? Why does this keep happening? And you know, because I've worked so hard to like retrain my mind, retrain my mindset, rework my family karma, rework my family trauma. Why is this still coming up again? Why is this still happening? But, you know, I realized that like also that while, you know, growing up with the situation, I was with my mom a lot of the time, especially after my parents got divorced. And I think I've told you guys in like the past episodes before. I mean, I know I have, like about the situation with my mom and how I literally had to tell her that like my dad was cheating on her and how I had to be the one to do that all at the age of 10 because she wouldn't like own up to what was actually happening. Like I've always had to be the emotional person to like I've had to handle all of the emotions in my family. And so after a while, it's just like I became an emotional scapegoat for them because they were like, oh, we can just pour all of our emotions onto her, into her, put everything on her, and she'll just clean it up and handle it and alchemize it for us. And great. And that went on, it went on like that for years. And then it's just like it wore on me and I got tired of it. I really got tired of it. And it's like even at about the age of 10 or maybe like 12, I even remember like my mom saying to me like at a point that she was jealous of me. And she's jealous of me because I have the ability to just do my own thing, to stand up for myself, to like go my own path, to do what I want. And I'm sitting here like 12 years old, my mother telling me this and exposing this to me. And granted, like a whole lot else was exposed during that age because she was going through a divorce. And granted, I guess I'll give her the benefit of the doubt because yeah, she was hurting and going through a divorce. That doesn't make it not true. So it's like when a person comes from a mother who is extremely jealous and then because not just because she's a jealous person, it's not jealousy for the sake of jealousy. I think that she has untapped creative talent that she never, I shouldn't even say got to utilize, she just didn't choose to. And like, because she used to make stationery, she used to do creative things all the time. She used to have a little like craft studio, but she never really used it. And it's so she's jealous every time I have a studio. She's jealous every time I paint or create. You know, she's even has gone as far as like to steal art supplies from me. Like she holds them or confiscates them has confiscated them in the past, and you know, or just played games with me and my art and my career and hoarded my own art pieces from me. I just found like 4 missing art pieces. I don't know. And then, you know, so that's like what I've come from. But then not only that, but it's just like as I grow and evolve in my career, then it's like more family members who have that untapped creativity like never got to do their dreams, never got to, they feel somehow threatened by the fact that I'm doing my dreams, not realizing that this takes work, that this takes effort, that this is 15 years almost of like, actually 14, let's say 14 is 14 years. Yeah, this is year 14 years that I've, you know, since one day decided to, hey, I'm going to love myself. Hey, I'm going to work on myself. Hey, I am going to become a full-time artist and live off this. It took like it took so much work, and it's like I don't deserve all of this malice and this weird jealousy energy from people, but it has come from me. It has come from my family system at like a very root level. I think it has to do with ancestry also. I think it has to do with slavery also. Like, it has to do with all of these lineage things that have worked so hard to break and cut. But and I think I have, honestly, at this point. But there's still some like negative momentum from all of that nasty ancestral karma that I broke, that, is losing its momentum. And before I really started like walking, this self-love path, and then actually even when I was starting to walk it, I didn't realize that like kind of going back and figuring out family stuff or family trauma or family issues was so important. Like, for a long time I lived away from my family completely, etc. But I knew that I needed to figure things out with my family and figure out what the root cause of all of this was, because certain things kept coming up, because certain patterns kept coming up, because I was stuck in a cycle. And so that's why I started journaling 14 years ago. And then that was to just help get all of it out of me, out of my head and out of my body, and just so I could process like, the trauma of it all. And so I did that. I really have done that. And I've never not done that. I've never not worked. In all these 14 years, I've always consistently worked. I've always consistently done art. But it's like a lot of times people who are not creatives and people who are not artists, they don't see creative work as real work. They don't see what I'm doing as actually being worthy of anything. They don't see what I'm doing as having any value. And literally, both my parents have told me that I'm not worth anything without money. My brother, the same, feels the same way. And they really think that worth and value is external. And the way to deal with things like this, because you could be like, whoa, that's really harsh. And it is. It really is fucking harsh. But like, the way that I kind of deal with it is like, all you can really do is pray for people like that. All you can really do is feel sorry that they actually believe that that is a reality and they actually can't feel the own value within their own soul. Because I know that my value is internal. And because my value is internal, my light, my abundance, everything that I am within shines out into every crevice of my artwork, into each and every piece that I've created over all of these years. So it's really about kind of going back in order to go forward a lot of times with this self-love journey. And so in this year or in this past year, I should say, and like also in 2021 and like during the time of our campaign, we were like so excited, about to launch our campaign. Everything was super great, in perfect alignment. And it was go time, it seemed, but I couldn't get a hold really of two of the team members, which I've talked about, who are no longer a part of our team. And, it turned out they were in Mexico on a vacation or about to go on vacation. They didn't tell me about it. They acted like I was nuts or being jealous because I was shocked, because I was like, aren't we supposed to be launching a campaign and don't we have a lot of things to prep for? And then they acted like nothing was happening. So then we had to, right when the campaign was about to start, drop 2 people from our team. Then we had to rebuild completely. And then we were also blocked and banned by TikTok. Not TikTok. TikTok's lovely. We were shadow banned at first by Instagram. And then, and that slowly started with our reach just dwindling down. but they do it in a very sneaky way. I have to give them credit for it, because it does make you feel like you are literally like losing your shit, or like you are actually losing community, when it's actually just like, you know, that system. So anyway, all of this stuff was going on, and yeah, with those two team members acting in that way and leaving, you know, I had to then sit back again and be like, well, why does the same stuff keep happening? You know, why do these same patterns keep happening? And then I remembered, you know, like all of these things, and like that they weren't even like, I was doing most of the work myself the whole time anyway. And like while they were on the team, like one tried to, or I mean, which I think is great. Like I don't, this is not a lack of love for either of them, because I do have love, even though they kind of stabbed me and STUK Designs in the back in a way, in a lot of ways. But like, you know, it just kind of it left me with programming that I've had to kind of pick up and finish all by myself. It left me with a huge mess that, you know, like I had to clean up due to just the real just unconsciousness, lack of unconsciousness, a lack of consciousness of two people, you know. And then so I really had to like do a lot of pickup. It wasn't like this is the first time I've had to do this. Like, you know, there were other girls worked with on my company, for sure. And, you know, and in the past, like most of them were friends at the time. And so I also learned the hard way that you really can't, I don't really believe in working with friends like that anymore. Not like, you know, maybe that become friends obviously after you start working together. But for me, the way that my past, I guess, as some would probably call it, like, I guess just like as my, because of my programming, because of my ancestral and karmic programming, you know, like I just have to be careful of those things, and very careful of like the type of people that I am letting touch or surround my company. I didn't really realize that. I just wanted everyone to have a piece of the love. I wanted everyone to feel abundant, to feel the same feelings that I feel. But like when people aren't doing any inner work, or don't really even care, then it's not, it's just, there's a wall. There's always going to be a disconnect. Like you're always going to be speaking different languages. So it's never personal, but I'm sure it feels that way to, you know, I'm sure it'll probably feel that way to them if they listen to this, like, but it's not, you know, it's just really, and I try to be as disconnected and as like, because I think I have to be doing nonprofit work as I can, with just moving forward with things and making progress and making things, you know, move and run again. But I think that disconnect has also led to people kind of slandering who I am, or like I'm cold, like I'm mean, like I don't give a fuck. And sometimes I don't give a fuck. But I'm not a cold and mean or heartless person. Like I have a business to run. I have a company that I've sustained for 14 years to maintain. And people are sitting here still trying to call it a hobby. People are sitting here and still trying to slander me, gossip behind my back, and talk shit about what I'm doing or what I'm trying to build, like it's somehow a joke, like it's somehow not real, like we're somehow not in revolutionary times, like we're not in war times, like serious things aren't happening. And serious things are happening, which is why the world needs companies like STUK Designs. So yeah, man, it's been so much unnecessary stuff, like and craziness, like, you know. And so like these weird situations of like betrayal, or jealousy, or a mixture of both, kept just emerging and like coming up out of the weeds after I finally just started to like see it, you know, finally started to like acknowledge that it was around me and happening. And you know, and it wasn't easy to really come to terms with, because a lot of the times I do have my rose tinted glasses on. I remember one day I was walking in Santa Monica. I was walking on Main Street because I used to work at a design firm there, and I had these big like circle glasses on. I think in the Bay we would call them stunner shades for sure, but they were like pink and beautiful. And but this homeless man that I was passing, he was like, he told me, he looked at me and he was like, it's time to take off your rose tinted glasses. Because I do always have rose tinted glasses, and I think that's what's beautiful about me. I can always put them on or take them off, but I think for a while I did have them on permanently, and I couldn't really see, who people really were. And even like to the point where people would tell me like I see too much good in people. I'm too nice. I'm too this. I'm too that. And I had Alice in Hennyland stickers one year, all at my birthday party. And if you don't know what that is, it's it's one of my art collections. So you can see that at brettsims.com. That's my personal art collection stuff. But yeah, so I had like this birthday party and I had like bottles of Hennessy all on the table, and I had my little picture, like my stickers and flowers, and I just made the decor really cute. She couldn't take it. She had everybody move downstairs to the closer to the she said it was because it was closer to the bar. She really just couldn't take the ambiance and that everything was perfect because she wanted to be the center of attention. So we moved downstairs so she could have her center stage. And then when I went back up, because it was so quickly, she got everyone to move. I didn't really even say it was okay. Once I went to go upstairs and like look and to find to pick up all my shit and decor, everything was there, but all my stickers were gone. And it took me a really long time to realize that she stole them. But yeah, so okay, I've had so many art pieces stolen. I've had so many people lie on my name. And it's crazy because a lot of that, even I'm sure my family probably would back up those lies because they don't really care to know who I really am or truly am. They don't really care to know what I am truly working on because they only see it as like, they don't see art as real. They don't see art as a real career. They don't see, they don't understand creativity as a profession. So they'll say anything about what I'm doing. And they certainly don't understand self-love. So it's like I can't even count on really my family to have my back. So it's been 2022 was a very, it was like I experienced probably like more sadness than I've had ever experienced, but not ever, because miscarriage year was pretty bad. But I think I had experienced like a lot of sadness, but I also had experienced so much bliss and joy. And how did I do that? Through self-validation. Like the only way that I really avoided really any the feeling of all of that was circling on around me, was to stay grounded. Well, first and foremost in God, in my faith, in all that, I believe in. And I think if I practice any religion, I really practice Buddhism, and I really tapped into that more in 2022 again. I started my Buddhism journey also around 14 years ago. So, I've just been practicing mindfulness and presence. And when you're present, you're free. When you're present, your mind and your heart is free anyway. And so you don't really feel like the pain that is slander, the pain that is gossip, the pain that is backstabbing, the pain that is, everyone that you love talking behind your back, making you look like someone you're completely not. You just don't feel it as much. So I really had to learn to stand up for myself and validate myself this year, or this past year, because now it's 2023, thank God. So yeah, and with that, like I just decided to like finally just stand up and take the alone time that I love in joy, and not make me feel guilty or weird about absolutely fucking loving spending time with myself, because that's what a lot of people who were quote unquote friends made me feel like. And did it purposely just because they were jealous, like that you don't have this space to go to be as free as I am right now, which is not my fault. And we can all make beautiful manifestations happen, but that's never going to happen when we're jealous or envious of others, you know? So really, I think that the shadow banning and the blocking again and again and again, and the craziness that happened trying to literally break apart every piece of our community on Instagram, that really tapped me into my self-validation like never before, in a way that I have never done before. And it made me have to radically love myself in a way that I've never done before. So now I'm ready to radically and revolutionary, like in a revolutionary way, love myself more than ever in 2023. Because like it was also kind of hard for me because I mean, okay, this might sound kind of, cocky or whatever, but it's honestly just the truth. Like despite all that, the family stuff, when I've been growing up and everything, I think because that's also the nature of the Gemini sign, I've always just been social and popular. Like I've never not been popular. I've always been popular in school. I've always been well dressed. I've always like had great friends. I've always been able to create communities anywhere that I'm at. I've always been able to make friends no matter what country I'm in, and I've been all over the world, and I have friends literally all over the world. So it was a little weird to me how social media all of a sudden tried to make it appear like I was no one and nothing, because my numbers kept dwindling down. And then, and so, and at first I was really like, oh my God, is this true? Oh my God, is this? And you get in that spiral of like, is this happening? Like, oh my gosh, people really hate STUK. People really hate me as an artist. Oh my God, what's happening? What's going on? And then I had to like take the reins, like, wait, Brett, you love yourself. So check it right here, right now. And then also I had to be like, wait a minute. You've been building this company for 14 years by yourself for like a huge percentage of the time. And you have lifted it time and time again out of no return, because other people have tried to tear it down, because family has tried to tear it down, because jealous friends have tried to tear it down, because social media has tried to tear it down, because the government has tried to tear it down, etc., etc., etc. And I've risen to the occasion every time. Like this isn't the first time that I've decided to turn off the site until we, receive more reciprocity. About in, I think, 2017, maybe like a little before 2017, I went on hiatus that time. I did the same thing because I felt like community wasn't giving me the reciprocity that I deserved for the work that I'm putting out in the world. Yeah, and about like 2015, 2016, maybe even between those years, I went on, not that I ever took off. I was always still doing art and I was always still creating for STUK, but I took a little hiatus. I went and traveled the world. I saw so many different countries, in Europe, and I just enjoyed myself and unplugged, and and then came back the reciprocity was there again. And literally, I put work out in the world to help heal others. That's all I care about. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the monetary factor. I care about healing women of color, healing Black women, healing Black girls, Black women, helping Black girls and Black women get art resources, get art supplies. But also that goes for women of color, because I very much so believe that we have very similar struggles, whether it be Indian women, Asian women, Pakistani women, whatever it is. I think that, we all go through some shit. We all go through some family struggle and family drama and some stuff that that people wouldn't understand who are not creatives. So that's why I built this community for creatives, And it's so crazy that people just try to tear that down, because it's like people get so jealous of creatives in general, I think. And I'm not some crazy girl like that just thinks like, oh, like people are after her and everybody's jealous, because I really would rather it not be that way. I don't want haters. I don't want anybody to be jealous of the shit that I am doing or creating, because that only creates delays or blockages in what the fuck I'm trying to do. Like, I am just trying to, I don't care about like the same stuff that most people care about. I have a deep love for the girls that I met in Ghana, that I served in Ghana, that I still continue to serve in Ghana. They are my heart, they are my soul, they are just, I know that I've been put here to help do better for them, and thus also do better for myself. And so it's so evil to me that people would even try to speak badly on my name or to speak badly on STUK's name, but I get it, because most people haven't even been outside the United States, who live in America. Like, and so they have this very small worldview of like what is actually happening. And it wasn't until I went to, because I've been to Europe, I've been to westernized cultures, but until I went to Africa, you know, I didn't realize like the disparity. I didn't realize the change that was needed. I didn't realize, the impact I held, and the magnitude of change that is needed. And I don't think anyone else can really fathom it who hasn't been there. But we do have a pretty dope vlog on the trip, so I suggest going to our YouTube to check that one out. But yeah, I don't think that there's really any other way you can understand, third world country, third world suffering. But the crazy thing about that is a lot of people who have only been in the States they don't even understand that what's happening in quote unquote third world countries is also just really happening in the States at this point. Like maybe not for the 1%, maybe not for the upper up, but like the 99% is struggling. And a lot of the stuff that after I came back from Ghana, the same stuff that I witnessed, the lack of any kind of art supplies, the lack of a fucking crayon, anything, was still the same, in Watts, California schools as in Ghana schools. So it's like, until we wake up and really see, like just, pain, disparity, I guess, it's hard for us maybe to take a stand and to really see vision and to see the scope of what somebody else is doing or building. But yeah. And as I sit here, I have all these paintings surrounding me because I'm preparing for my third solo show. And really this is a big deal for me because I've only up until this point showed for peers, shown for friends and people in my own kind of sphere. And really, it's like for such a long time, I've needed to break out of that sphere. I need to get to a place where, I'm showing with galleries that have real art collectors, where I'm showing with people who are very serious about art. And that's what I'm moving towards. And in this craziness, all of the craziness of 22 that happened, really, I gotta say, like, my art manager was one of the few people who had my back. That'll say, and my mentors, shout out to Brennan and shout out to Trevor, founder of Oak Stop. My mentors always got me. And now my art managers got me. And I know my team members, Madeline and Tazine, they get me and they get what's happening. But, I don't think, to be real, nobody else really believed that any of this was actually happening to me. So for about a year, everybody just thought I was crazy, and no one would listen to me. And it wasn't until Kanye kind of came out and was like, hey, social media is suppressing people, that people finally started to say, hey, maybe this little black girl is actually telling the truth. And I mean, you get it. You think that I'm like some 18-year-old little black girl from a well-off family who's spoiled and gets everything she wants. You think that, right? No, I'm 35. I've worked my ass off. I've had more jobs than I can actually count. I've worked tireless hours to create, I don't even know how many full art collections I have now. But I know that STUK Designs collection has over 100 illustrations. I do know that. Like, I think we probably have like 150 or something like that. And I'm still creating. I'm still going. And I'm very intentional, and I'm very focused. I don't really I meditate every day. I give gratitude and give thanks every day. I've created the books for STUK Designs that I've created out of ways that, things that I have done to heal myself, things that I have done to snap myself back into self-love, to put myself back into the self-love game after being out for a while or something, because that's very real. So yes, and especially within the manifestation journal, that I've created, everything that's in there is one of the things that I've done and repeatedly keep doing to get me out of things that I'm stuck in, to get me out of toxic relationships, to get me out of toxic jobs, to get me out of toxic friends that want to trap you in a box, to get me out. So the things that I've created, they're also created to get you out. That's what this is about. That's what we're doing here. But a lot of people don't understand what we're doing here. And a lot of people want to tear it down and break it down. And as a Black woman, I deserve more protection than I've been getting. I deserve more support than I've been getting. I don't deserve my name dragged by social media and then dragged by my friends, then dragged by my family. Really? After do you know how many other people are do you know how much other shit Black women deal with on the daily? And you think, oh, she's light skinned. I get it. You don't think that I'm really that Black. You think that maybe I talk a little white sometimes, a little to this, whatever the fuck it might be. Whatever it is, it's all just fluff at this point. It's all just smoke and mirrors at this point. What's real now within society, within this crazy shift that we're going through, what's showing up now is the people that are authentic, the people that have run the long game, the people that are really here to help you, the people that are really here to build, support, grow, and find solutions into making, our communities and our world a better and safer place to live in. Because right now, and with the severe hate and cruelty that I have received this year, man, now I know more than ever that STUK is needed. Now I know more than ever why it's needed to have self-love, to have consciousness, to be able to be intentional with the way you move about your life, and to journal, to do inner work, to do spiritual work. Now I see. Because for the people that haven't, that you move recklessly and you hurt people and don't even understand and don't even see how. But now it's with the future art shows that I'll be having, with and now I'm under management, with all the changes that will be happening, I can't have the same people around me anymore. I can't have the same liabilities around me anymore. And that's because that's what had been surrounded by and didn't even realize it. I can't deal with gossip behind my back, which I know when it happens. So don't try to play me. And, I want people who are actually in my corner, and it's not about me. And I don't want people who are always making my art, my nonprofit, everything about me, because it's not about me. It's about all of you. I did this project, STUK Designs, as a project anonymously for 10 years before it was more so me at the front. And I had to only make it really me at the front, really, once those two team members left. Because I didn't want it to be. I wanted it to be community. I wanted it to be for everyone. I wanted it to be about every woman, and it's still going to be that way. But not while y'all are gonna be oh, she's just doing this for her. Oh, this is her thing. This is her thing. This is her art. Oh, this is no, this is about change that is happening in society. This is about, we are in a revolution. The revolution isn't later, it is now. Change needs to happen now. Things are happening now, real things, not little petty gossip, not little petty slander. Like, we don't know, there is no time for that. So that's why we really came out with the idea of, I decided to like send a newsletter to you, STUK community, which I hope that you received. If you are not signed up for our newsletter, please shoot us an email and we will sign you up. But basically now we're gonna have to go underground. I have put our Instagram on hiatus. I do think that will be, I mean, for now, it's like forever. This page will stay up as a resource, but I don't trust the way in which my phone's been tracked and our pages have been blocked. I know my numbers tracked, emails tracked, like within the Instagram app, I figured that out at the end of the year. Like, I was being, the tags were creating a link between, my phone number, my email, and the application, so that and because they're tracking in a shadow band, that meant when I tried to create like a new page, let's start over again with a STUK page, they won't even let me do that because they have my number tracked. So what it does, once I do it, it's like pretends that it's going to let me, and then it says, oh, you're blocked for 90 days. So it'll do stuff like that. And this stuff is happening, people. Like, it's not just happening to me, it's happening to so many, but most people don't want to talk about it because they think it's embarrassing, because they think maybe, oh, their following is just dwindling, or, oh, this is embarrassing to talk about because people are gonna think I'm crazy, because people aren't gonna listen to me. But I'm here also to bring a voice to the voiceless. That's also my purpose on this path, And because for so long within my family system, within my nuclear family system, I was never afraid. I'm like, wow, but I was afraid. I was never allowed to speak my mind, to say my truth, to be who I truly was. Probably since I probably was before I, had to expose that cheating was happening within my family system. Like, prior to that, prior to the divorce, things were a bit better. After the divorce, I was shut down and ignored by family. And so it's not really a surprise that, a lot of the times my voice gets ignored by society, ignored by the masses, ignored by people at large, because that's a system program thing that I've been having to relearn. I've been having to reprogram my mind, my life, everything around people who don't ignore me like my family did, and to people who do let me speak freely, unlike my family did, stuff like that. So I think that we all have the ability to be free and to get free, but it doesn't just happen like this. It's not a snap of the fingers. I've been on this journey 14 years, as I said. So yeah, I had to really learn how to, in every way, pull self-validation out of myself, even when literally 0 people validated me. And it was a lot like that for a large portion of 2022. I felt like I was literally completely alone, but because I've been through this before, but because I've been on the self-love journey before, I know that it's just part of the journey. I know that it's just a part of the journey that you walk alone before another level up. And it's just like, there are many, self-love is an endless journey, and there are many, plateaus and many level ups and many, it's just a process. It's evolution. And so I always just sit with it. I always just accept what it is. I stay in the present moment, and I focus in on my art, and I focus on creating, and I focus on doing what I love. And I focus in on what I love about myself. And when I do things like that, when I have that internal validation in place, then nothing can really shake me. And 14 years ago, I wrote that it was my goal to not let any people, not let any external people, as mean or as like harmful as they may be, to disturb my frequency or disturb like what my foundation of self-love. And I wrote that I never wanted to let it get to me because that like because I had never had that before. And now being at that place where I really am unfuckable with, which is one of our STUK illustrations actually, it says be unfuckable with. Things are very different. I see things even more clearly, and it's just like I think leveling up your self-validation in a way is kind of like uphill process. It does feel a bit like a mountain hike. It feels like when I go to Yosemite and I'm on the incline only like hikes, and I'm like losing my breath, and like it's so uncomfortable, and I feel like I can't breathe, and like I need to just rest but can't because the hill only goes up. And it feels like that, and it feels like that until you finally get to the top of the mountain, and it feels like, oh my God, what a gorgeous view. Look at this waterfall. Feel the fresh air in my face. Oh, this mist feels so good. What a beautiful view. Now I can lay back and rest and eat this amazing meal. That's how it feels when you like climb to the top of that self-validation plateau. Because, I think I realized that, well, first of all, the healing journey never really ends, but I did realize that, like, after healing from a lot, that I don't know, I was never, a lot of the things that I was quote unquote healing, I was never that broken to begin with from. It's just other people. It was other people around me, other people saying and doing things and messing with my energy. And, when I pulled myself into my own energy, into my own personal authority, which I did in 2022, that really helped me. As well as just, I think, owning and honing into my self-validation. I had help from so many spiritual teachers. And I'm a huge fan of Patreon. I love Patreon as a Instagram alternate, especially for our community. It's a beautiful thing. So not only does STUK Designs have a Patreon community in which we include our drawing lessons, in which we include the things that we used to post on our Instagram, but it's just also a spiritual hub. And I have met so many powerful teachers, like from Umber Khan of Revolution Ramblings podcast to Lindsay, to Monique Ruffin, to Chris Corsini, who's amazing. Oh my gosh, I could go on and on. I've just had so many, Desiree Dixon, and I just have had so many spiritual teachers along this path who have guided me in so many powerful meditations to move through energy, to clear karmic patterns, to break ancestral chains, to move through friend drama, to move through family drama. It's just been so helpful, and there's no way I could be more thankful. But yeah, I'm just at such a different place this year. And I think it's also because this year I did really make, at the start of it, I really was intentional about cleaning up and clearing my name and my reputation that a lot of people have taken, their own liberties with. Who don't really even know me or know who I am in any way, because truly only a few people know me. I think only my cousins really actually know what I've really been going through, and Stacy too. And I think that, And Stacey, if you don't know, is my co-host for the Fempreneur Friday podcast, which is STUK Design's entrepreneurship podcast. So, but yeah, I really, only deeply communicate the things that are going on at the time with my very close, most intimate people, and and a few other people who who I'm not going to name here because otherwise people get in my affairs and get in my business and slander things that I'm doing. So I don't want that to happen any longer. Moving forward, but I know it won't also moving forward because I'm also in this pure place of infinite self-validation. And yes, some days there absolutely are shitty days. Some days other people's overwhelming emotions or behaviors may get to you, and may like fluster you. But also for me, you got to understand that like the way that I'm talking about this stuff and where I'm coming from is someone who has been on a self-love journey for 14 years. So I have been through these things over and over and over again and had to validate myself, validate, fall. And it's like, so after 14 years of doing this, I really am at a place where it's just like, yeah, I don't really care about external opinion about anything. I don't really give a fuck what other people think or anything like that. But one thing that will not happen is people continuing to stand in my way by slandering my name, by slandering my company, by slandering all that I've worked for, because that's just not cool. And the thing is, I think on the last Fempreneur Friday episode, me and Stacey really talked about this, and we'll probably go into it in more depth. But she brought up the topic of jealousy versus envy. And I think that, and she said, and that they're different. And I do think, and we agree that they're different, but she agreed that they're different and jealousy has a lesser effect. And I think that jealousy has an equally harmful effect as envy. I think that they are different, but they can go hand in hand, and one can lead to the other. And I think that as someone who has all her life just had to deal with jealous people, especially jealous girls, because of the way my family system was programmed, it's just like I need people to be aware of that. I need people to be aware that jealousy does create issues, and jealousy is harmful, and jealousy is toxic. And we are all human, and we do all have it. I get jealous too, absolutely. But when I get jealous, what I do is I'll unplug probably first, go within, tap within to myself, and I'll ask myself, where is this coming from? Where is this space and place of jealousy coming from? And how can I shift that? How can I, make that better? And I'll have a conversation with God about it, or, whatever you may call it, the universe, your higher power, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to say, and I'll work out the kinks until that jealousy is out of my heart and out of my space. But when you have jealousy in your heart, in your space, in your aura, it creates energy leaks, mainly for you, but also for other people. And that jealousy that you're expressing towards another will only come back to you. So, yeah, I just think that as someone who's dealt with it all of her life, it's just, I just want to squash it, at this stage in my life. I'm 35 now. I don't want to deal with jealous people. I don't want to deal with jealous friends. I don't want to deal with toxic situations. I don't want that energy anywhere around me. And I think while saying that, you have to I don't want people that are absolutely just fucking perfect. I think that actually, well, we all have jealousy. It all comes up. But for example, even Stacey, on the last episode, she acknowledged that she has had jealousy a bit here and there, when it, with me and my career, when it comes to that. But she's very conscious, and she has an immaculate sense of self-love. So she goes within herself, taps in, is like, where is that jealousy coming from? Or we'll talk it out, and and it'll be gone, it'll be squashed. But like, if you're not conscious, if you're not doing self-work, if you have no self-accountability, then it's like you become a liability to everything that I'm building at this point in time. So yeah, I've had to make a lot of harsh decisions when it comes to who I'm around, what I'm going to do, the way that I am moving. And yeah, I've made some really difficult decisions, but I've also made them for the better, and I'm so much happier, and I'm never been as creative in my life. Like, I've honestly never had so much content to post, so much creativity flowing through me, so much love, so much inspiration, but I've also never been so blocked, never been so banned. And so you got to see that there's a correlation there. I also never experienced any, like I said before, any weirdness with stuff before it became not anonymous, before it was a Black woman behind it, all of a sudden. So I just would love you guys to be able to respect, listen to, serve with, give to the mission of STUK Designs without attaching the woman to the mission. The quote goes, don't attach the man to the mission. But this time I'm saying, just like, stop attaching the women all the way to the mission. Like, because this project, all that STUK Designs is so much more than me. I have only been put here, to bring it about. I'm just put here as a vessel to make it happen. And I hope it does sustain long after I'm gone. I don't want it to be all about me. I don't want to always have to be the center of it. But when people, try to tear it down to the point where I have to speak up and have to, make it about me, then, and then this is what it is. So I definitely would love for you guys to engage more. I would love for you to subscribe to our newsletter. I would love for you to join our Patreon community so that we can get back to us. and I'd love for just, any slander, any gossip, any negative chit chat that surrounds STUK Designs or my name, Brett Sims, or my art brand, Art by Brett, to just stop. Because all I am is kindness. All I am is love. I shouldn't say all I am is kindness, because sometimes we can't always be kind. It can't always be love and light, but my whole heart is grounded and centered in the love I have for myself, my own soul, and my own light. And because I have that so deeply, I can expand that love and pull other people into that frequency of love. But now I just got to be a little bit pickier about who I pull into that frequency, and who I shower with that love. But I hope that in listening to this podcast episode, you guys can all feel a little bit of that love and or just be reminded of your own self-love, and to just think about, ways in which you can engage more in your own self-love journey. Because I think that that's really what it takes to heal the world. I think it takes each of us really, tapping into our own inner work and taking accountability for the things we do, speak, say, and how we move in this world. Because it has an effect on every ripple, on every atom, on every cell that is like in this environment, in this simulation. Like, we are the creators. And when people don't know that, it can get really reckless. I'd love to just get back to a place of love and of giving and of centered, grounded community, and of being vulnerable and open with each other again, and just feeling like a safe space again. Because I feel like my safe space, in a way, was really attacked on Instagram, because we can't even post anymore. But like, it also was attacked by people who only understand credibility in terms of likes and, you know, social media engagement and following and comments and all that. So it's like it was taken down on one hand by, you know, whoever's behind Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg and his team. And then I think I said Zuckerberg, which is really funny. But you know, it's like, on the other hand, it just got taken down by jealous people, by people who didn't want to see me win, which is so fucked up, because it's like, it's not about me. Do you understand that monthly I have girls to serve? Do you understand that monthly I have girls and women that I need to give financially to, so that they can like eat another meal and live another day? Do you understand that that's what you're fucking with when you fuck with me? Like, I don't get it, you know? So like, I've never received such cruelty as I have in 2022. But because of that cruelty, I guess I have so much hope for what 2023 could bring. Because it can only get better from here. The love from here can only expand. The protection from here can only expand. And so, yeah, I mean, I hope you guys realize that Black women actually do deserve to be protected right now. That women of color do deserve to be protected right now. That artists do deserve to be protected right now. Because like, we are really in shifting and time, and we are really in shifting and changing times, and the time is now. And if not us, who? And if not now, when? You know? Because it's just like, people deem social media is so important. Everyone is so addicted to the likes and their following, and get so much anxiety over creating one post and over how many likes they get. And then they look and see that your count is dwindling and falling. And then they look at you as some sort of failure. And then because of that dwindling or whatever, then they look at your campaign as a failure. And then it's like, you have like go through like basically a year with people looking at you and judging you as if you are a failure, when that's not even what's happening, and it's not even an accurate reflection of what we're doing or anything that's happening with us as a company. It's just it was just like a social media lie, really. And I just want to shift that moving into this beautiful new year. And yeah, I want to shift a lot of stigmas. I want to shift a lot of perceptions. And I hope that clearing my name is finally done, because I'm done. I don't want to make this all about me. I'd rather put spotlight on other women. I'd rather put spotlight on social impact. But apparently, until people can get over me, that can't clearly happen. So that's why I created this, to clear some more, to just kind of tell you guys how I kind of had to, in a very harsh way, at the final hour, really master self-validation. But also just to give you guys hope that you can do this too. You can get to this place of self-love. You can get to this place of, you know, creating every day and painting and drawing every day, and you can create your own companies. But like, the first step is believing in yourself. The first step is being able to give yourself that validation that maybe no one else around you will give you. So I want you all to know that you are so powerful, that you are so worthy, that you are more than enough. You were born more than enough. I want you to know that prosperity and abundance is your birthright, and that no one can really take that away. No external circumstance can really fluctuate the abundance that is within your heart and your soul. And I really would love you guys to truly know this, and not just think I'm speaking some like fluff just to speak it, or to think that I'm saying some like love and light because I'm just candy coated love and light bread. And that's just not who I am. I'm very love and light. I can be very perky and optimistic and whatever, but I've worked 14 years for this. So give me a break. Really? Yeah. So I'm wishing you guys so much love. And I hope you do choose to invest in our community. I hope you do choose to continue walking this journey with us. I hope that you will open up to us in the comments and in our YouTube comments and watch our vlogs and keep up with what we are building, because we are really here to change the world. That's not just some like cliche like thing that I'm saying. It's very real and it's already happened in small ways. And I'm conscious enough to know that small things make a big difference. So anyway, go out there and make the world a better place. Go out there, elevate yourself, elevate your life, elevate everybody around you. You are worthy, you are magical, you are a bright, ultra light being. Have the most beautiful day, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. I love you so much.
Hi everyone, hope you liked that episode. We are all about preaching self-love and empowering women and girls around the world. Support us in our journey as we provide art supplies and many more resources to girls in Ghana through our two programs, the Fly Girl Initiative and Little Artists. We are also working on hosting more Color for a Cause events, as well as our No Filter school tours. Your help will enable this organization to work on bettering the lives of people around the world.
See you in our next episode. Love and light from us to you.